Oops, I stopped the track. One sec.
I'm for something you know I can't explain. Nurture the healing, blooming from the pain. Oh, thought I was losing everything, refusing who I am, confusing where I've been with everywhere I'll ever be. Kinetic energy flowing inside of me. I'm fighting for my peace. Won't let you bury me alive. No longer feasting on my mind. No, slowly recovering my sense of wonder in order to get back from 6 feet under. Cause now I'm getting back from 6 feet under. 6 feet under. 6 feet under. Oh, 6 feet under.
I'm messing up.
If everyone returned to artifacts and favorite memories, sipping lemonade, swinging underneath the oak trees, playing hide and seek, catching crawdads in the creek, paying forward all the love that you won't let you bury me alive. No longer feasting on my slowly recovering my sense of wonder in order to get back from 6 feet under. Hey, hey, no longer feasting on my mind. I guess I'm doing just fine. Six feet under. 6 feet under. 6 feet under. I'm missing something. My vision's blurred. Spinning my senses in a world of time. Choking on things I had to prove these lies that filled the tomb, denying I was dying, spiraling to find the truth. Won't self-cannibalize, I'll photosynthesize. I'm desperate to survive. Won't let you bury me alive. No longer feasting on my mind. Slowly recovering my sense of wonder in order to get back from 6 feet under. Now I'm getting back from 6 feet under.
Oops, I stopped the track. One sec.
I'm for something.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's honestly, Ashley, it's been a week, but we are surviving. We are surviving today.
Yeah, it's been a time. We've been busy. A lot has been going on, but it's great. Hello, everyone. Hello, chat. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. My goodness.
Oh, and welcome to season 2, episode 2 of Perfectly Queer. We're your hosts. I'm Blizz.
Oh my gosh. I'm Ashley. Hello. Welcome on. And Ashley Roboto also, I suppose. Welcome to this beautiful Thursday evening hangout and vibe.
Hang out and vibe. Ashley, I actually have a question for you before we start everything. I don't know if you came prepared answering questions, but especially my questions. That's the problem.
I'm prepared.
Okay. I'm asking you this first question because you already answered it. So this one's easy. If
Okay.
you were a type of seating, any kind of seating, and you can explain it however you want to, what type of seating would you be?
Okay. Chat, also feel free to answer. I would love to know what type of seating you are. So, Blizz threw this question out, and I shockingly had a very quick answer. I really, really want to be those like outdoor like mushroom stools that you put in your garden. I saw one in Canadian Tire the other day and it was so cute. And it's just like a cute little like rugged mushroom stool. And I want to be that. What about you? What would you be?
I'm more of the I'm a bar stool type of guy. Like I feel like bar stools, they're very versatile. Like they
True.
can be at a bar or they could be in an art classroom while you're like sculpting
Mhm.
something. I want to be an all around guy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And all around, like you can have a back on a bar stool, no back. You can have that little foot bar, no foot bar. You can just like the height can change, you
Yeah,
know?
the height can change. It
Versatile.
depends. I could be a little footstool and anything like that.
Little guy. Just a little guy.
Okay, okay. And then second question that you absolutely do not know.
Okay.
What would be
Mm,
the one meal if you
mm,
could have one meal for, sorry, I'm messing this up already. If you could have one meal for the rest of your life, what would
mm.
that meal be?
Or I have a very Canadian answer for this. I feel like
What
it
is
would be
up with the
pudding.
Canadian answers?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, a mushroom stool is a Canadian answer,
Uh,
or is it the fact that I mentioned Canadian
I
Tire?
think
Because
you
that
mentioned Canadian Tire. This is
that's
just
true.
one
Yeah.
promo for Canada, I guess.
There you go. Yeah, sure. Well, I think I'd poutine because I feel like there's a lot of funky things that you can do with poutine that's not just like if you keep the base of poutine that's like gravy and cheese curds on fries, you can add more stuff on top of it and it's so good. And so I would do that.
I've never had
I absolutely
poutine before.
You should. It's so good.
Is there
It's so
meat in it?
good. I mean, you can put meat in it, but there's not usually. I mean, like the gravy is like most of the time like meat based, but you don't have to
Hmm.
have a meat based gravy with it. You can kind of go whatever.
If
A
I
lot. That's a point of contention though. But that's one that I don't personally care about. Some people do. I don't. But look, I want to know what food you would eat forever. I was gonna say B.
be
What food
what
would you
food would
be?
you be when you want to grow up? No, I would
Exactly.
wait before I answer that though, is I have a question about poutine. Is
Oh.
hmm,
Hmm.
is it the same in the States? Or would I have to go to Canada to really truly experience poutine?
Ugh, I feel like certain states you could probably get
Like
okay stuff as
Wisconsin,
long as you can have
maybe?
proper cheese curds.
Wisconsin's like known for cheese curds, I'm assuming. So,
Oh yeah, so like Wisconsin has a lot of cheese, so I feel like you could get a pretty decent poutine there. However, I feel like Canada has like the most poutine, you know.
okay.
But I know a lot of places, even some in Canada, which stresses me out, will have poutine, but it's like shredded cheese
Yeah,
instead
so
of
that's
like
what I've
cheese
seen.
curds in it.
Yeah.
That is not
That's not poutine.
poutine. That
Okay.
is just cheese on fries.
Are we gatekeeping poutine though? At that point? Like what is poutine and what is not
Poutine
poutine?
is by design three ingredients. That's cheese curds, gravy, and fries.
Okay.
There's like three things. This is like the most simple recipe, and I feel like changing a third of the recipe makes it no longer that thing.
Oh my god.
And
Sorry.
I will look. I'm not for gatekeeping anything, but if me saying that poutine has to be cheese curds is gatekeeping, I will gatekeep.
That's the hill I'm dying on.
What?
Chat, I'm
That is
sorry.
the hill. Wow.
We had to start shooting with this. I guess for me, I would be a simple margarita pizza.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a margarita pizza. It's the tomatoes, the
Mm,
dollops of mozzarella cheese, and the basil. That's all
yeah.
you really need. And
True.
oh, I guess also the crust.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Well,
what are you putting it on? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's so simple
Like
and easy.
hope and dreams.
I remember the like first time I went to Europe, I never heard of a margarita pizza. And I was 16. I was 16 in
Oh my
Europe,
god.
never heard of a margarita pizza. I went to this place in France and they had a pizza and it said, I was like, "Do you have a cheese pizza?" And they were like, "We have margarita pizza." And I was like, "I don't know what that is." Is like, "Okay, can I just get it, I guess?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So I got a margarita pizza and it was the best thing ever.
And then you saw the light of that pizza.
And
I
I
love
saw the
that for
light and
you.
now it's been a game changer for me since 16.
That's amazing. I
So,
love that. I love that for you.
Ash, what have you done this weekend? What have you been up to? Let chat update chat. What's going on?
I moved a week ago. Um, so it's been a time, besties. I have been slowly unpacking. I've had an electrician over 3 days in the last week because of different things happening. But I'm in this house and it's great. I know if y'all saw the first episode, I'm in a definitely different office than before.
Yeah.
So, hi. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've just basically been dealing with that. What have you been up to?
It's something, the energy in this week that has just been stressful. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand where that came from. But
I feel it.
the one highlight of my week was I got to finally play that game, Palia, and it is so adorable. Had no idea how adorable it was going to be. I ended my stream yesterday just to play an hour more off stream.
That's amazing. I'm so jealous. I haven't been able to. I was going to play it on Monday, but I thought my house was not able to handle my streaming setup because I tripped the breaker twice in an hour.
Oh.
Turns out my breaker was just being spicy for no reason, and it hasn't happened since. So
Oh.
I literally just haven't been able to play it yet. I think I'm gonna play it for the first time tomorrow, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
You're going to fall in love. There's certain
Oh, for
mechanics
sure.
in there where you're like, "Cool, I'm falling in love." There's going to be certain spots too where you're going to be like, "I can see room for improvement." I'm very interested here.
Sure.
But
That's with
also
every
I
game,
just want to
really.
say congratulations on getting a house, because like
Thank you.
that is wild. Holy
Thank
heck.
you. Oh my god.
Very, I gotta give chat, if we have clapping emotes, you gotta, because that is, wow, that is
Thank you.
amazing.
It doesn't feel real still. I'm literally like wandering around and gallivanting, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like I'm gonna be here for like very long, Like it feels like I'm renting like an Airbnb or something.
Yeah. It's gonna feel like that for the first month, maybe 3, but then
I
afterwards you'll be
know.
fine.
It's true. I'm just like, all right, I have to just unpack all the boxes. Like half the house is boxes right now, and I just need to fix that, and then it'll be okay. But oh my God, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very excited about it. And I'm excited to feel like I actually, live here. But because of the fact that I've been moving, I literally have not had the time or energy to consume like any new media. So I've missed out on
Oh.
so many things. Like I know that because I basically find out all these things from my chat now, is that there's the new season of Heartstopper. And then we were talking in the first episode about Nimona. I still haven't been able to watch any of
Ah!
that.
Okay. So I haven't had a chance to watch Heartstopper, so I'm not gonna come after you for that one. But Nimona, you need to. You
I
need
know.
to. That is, if you appreciate Gremlin energy,
I
you
do.
would love the entirety of it. I teared up. I was on an airplane while watching it, and I teared up next to the person who was like dead asleep. Just me crying tears. It's such a good movie.
Oh my
They
God.
gave a character, like the main character has puppy dog eyes. I don't know how they did
Oh,
that. They made
I
a
love it
evil
so much.
brooding character, puppy dog eyes.
That's so cute. I love Gremlin. I feel like I've seen like a couple little scenes like on when I've been around on the internet.
Mhm.
And she is great. I love the energy. Everything is fantastic. I'm very excited to one day experience it. Hopefully soon, because I'm slowly actually starting to get my like evenings back where I don't just like
Mm.
sit and then just pass out. So fingers crossed very soon. But you know, I'm just trying to like exist. I found my Bluetooth speakers so I can finally start listening to music again. It's just been a process of me finding things, but it's been so nice because that's basically all I've been able to do. I've been able to stream, play video games, and then have music. And that's basically it.
Did you take a break from moving and streaming? How long was your break? I'm gonna
A
yell at
week.
you. Okay. Oh, okay, that's fine.
It was a week, and honestly, it probably should have been more, but I'm not that upset about it because
Yeah.
I was just trying to be a perfectionist and get everything unpacked, which In my brain, I was like, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna get unpacked, and I'm gonna like get my office like fully set up. That
Mm.
did not happen.
But it looks good. It looks good still.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Oh my
It's
god.
gonna take some time. Take some time
It is.
to
I know.
realign, as they say. Um, I'm trying to think of any other like media I've been digesting or any other content I've been digesting, especially like queer stuff. I don't know if I have.
I
I've been
know. I feel
listening.
like I've been
No, I got it. Music. I've been listening to music, and what I've been listening to, Ash,
yeah.
has been Demi Lovato has been releasing rock versions of their popular songs,
Oh, I love that.
and
Oh my
so
god, I forgot
like
about that.
you get a lot of like cool like sorry not sorry, or like I'm forgetting every Demi Lovato song now.
Of course.
I think Heart Attack, that it's all great. I highly recommend. I've been telling my chat to listen to it. It's just really good music, and I'm always good for like rock music. I'm always a fan of rock music. So
Yeah, me
rock or
too. I
metal.
honestly, one of my favorite things is like rock covers of like just songs that aren't rock music, like especially like all those. Look here, I haven't been consuming uh a lot of queer media because I haven't been consuming any media. However, I have still been very firmly queer because all of those like cute women on TikTok who play the guitar and do like rock covers of non-rock songs,
Yeah.
I'm in love with them. So that is what I have been appreciating.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other queer media. I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to like kind of sit down and breathe for a second,
Yeah.
which that's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I literally feel like it's been like 3 days since we did the first episode. But we are still here and we're back again, you know?
It's
Woo!
been Oh, for anyone that's new though, Ashley, can you tell people who you are and like what you do and the
Oh my god.
things
Okay. So,
you
hello.
exist in?
This is episode 2. I'm here. I do stream on Twitch. I do a lot of variety content. I'm pretty much you can either find me doing like cozy stuff, gremlin stuff, or horror stuff, but I have been really into Baldur's Gate this week. And I think I'm going to be doing like a weekly thing with that for the next little while
Hmm.
because I started a fun little playthrough today, being a fun and funky fresh like half of a set of twins that are running around causing chaos in Baldur's Gate with Lexi Games. Um, so that's really fun. But I also will be playing Silent Hill 2 later this month, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Love it. And yeah, that's kind of what I do. I kind of do whatever. What about you, Blizz? What are you up to?
I
What
exist
chaos do you
on the
bring?
internet or something. Hi everyone, my name is Blizz. I mostly on Twitch cover true crime cases. I do a lot of just chatting streams, and I play anything that's either cozy or will be chock full of puzzles, because I like to call myself a
Mm,
strategist. But that also includes horror games, because horror games are just
they
puzzle
are.
games. Yeah, no,
Blizz,
no,
have
no,
you played
go.
Silent Hill 2?
I haven't played Silent Hill 2.
We'll talk after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble after this chat.
No, I'm not because you're in trouble. It's because I want you to and I can help you.
there's there's a game I actually want to recommend for you that is basically Silent Hill but with puppets.
Oh.
Yes. So, but it's very Silent Hill but with puppets. And someone sent it to me, and I was like, I know exactly who needs this information. So, you would love it. It's very cursed. It
Cool.
honestly reminds me of your modded Silent Hill runs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my modded Resident Evil runs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Resident Evil, sorry, not Silent
It's
Hill.
fine. They're so similar to like for people who are more outside of like the super horror like survival horror scene is vibes.
I mixed up the two. Oh
They go hand in
no.
hand a lot. It's okay.
Oh
It'll be
no.
fine.
But yeah, I do a lot of things here. I cover true crime, I do shouting, cozy games, scary games, and then I also am a host and a producer slash showrunner for a company called Rooster Teeth, but I focus mostly in gaming news. I'm under Inside Gaming, and we cover anything video game related. And yeah,
Fun.
it's a lot of fun. We've really been trying our thing at the Twitch platform recently. I've been trying to convince my company that Twitch is a good platform and that you can actually do cool things on it. So
It's very true. You can.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of conversations. But yeah, that's basically all I do here. That's basically all Ashley does here. Um, we don't exist outside of this bubble now.
No, we are here on the internet, and that is all.
That is it.
That is our life.
That's all you need to know about us. Um,
Mhm.
should we
I
jump
feel like,
into our
we
next
were
thing?
sitting on music for a bit, but I feel like we might be able to talk about our lovely special guest today. We have a special guest joining us today for this wonderful episode of season 2, episode 2 of Perfectly Queer. And the special guest is none other than Kisos, who is a New York City-based DIY artist who built a name founding Quarantine, which is a digital showcase for LGBTQ indie artists that started during the pandemic, which is absolutely amazing. Oh my God, loving that we're all stuck inside and just decide to just platform other like queer incredible angels. I love this.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That was well, thank you everyone. Thank you. Hi everyone. Hi Blizz. Hi Ashley.
Hello.
Thank you for the
Hello.
lovely intro. Yeah, Quarantine was kind of like my big kind of like Twitch moment. I haven't been streaming as much this year because I'm like, I need a break. But yeah, that was kind of like how I spent my pandemic, was like showcasing indie artists and indie music videos. And it was cool because there's so many artists who had like never had a chance to like get that recognition before, who like had a
Mhm.
platform for the first time. And it was cool to validate people and share their art and stuff.
Oh, I love that. First and foremost, before we jump into anything though, I love the fit. I told you
Yes,
this earlier because
absolutely.
huge fan of the fit. That jacket, just the earrings, the jewelry. You're killing it right now. I just want
I
you
did it
to
on
know.
purpose. I did it on purpose. I was gonna wear something else and I was like, it gets better, like talk
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
and need to get the rainbow
Go
jacket.
So you
get
definitely
all
have to.
fancy. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm gonna bombard you with a bunch of questions,
I
but it's
love it.
also like this is our first time meeting, and I want to know
Yeah.
like a lot about you. So what originally got you into music or just creating things in general?
Yeah, so it's funny. I feel like I have the opposite of like the stereotypical story. Like I didn't grow up in a musical family. I didn't like grow up singing or like in competitions. Like I would make really dumb songs.
You're
There's home
not the
video of
Rachel
me.
Berry of the world.
No,
Okay.
I'm not. I'm not. So but I was always just like, I guess not in a typical way, as like a hyper like ADHD like queer kid. I'm like always singing like jingles and like making up nonsense. It just wasn't like along to the radio or whatever. But I did do band in high school. I mean elementary school all the way through high school, and I very stereotypically played the flute.
Love it.
So very queer of me. I always joke that that's what made me gay, even though it isn't. But and maybe it helped me open my mind a little more.
Yeah, I mean
And
the
then
tuba made me bisexual, so there
Oh,
tuba,
there you
you
go.
go.
very queer. Did you play anything, Ashley?
Oh my God. I played the bass mostly and also guitar.
Okay,
Maybe
that
the
can be
bass
very
might be
queer.
bi, who knows?
That can be very queer. I feel like the only instruments. Now, let me know in the chat if we're gonna start beef on accident. I feel like trumpet, which is funny. I was like, trumpet seems like a very straight instrument. Flute seems very like delicate and queer. Not that those things always have to go together. But I was like, I think clarinet and like flute and like definitely like guitar and like tuba, like the things that are a little less mainstream
Mm,
tend to be what attracts the queer talent.
Not the saxophones. We hate saxophone players. No.
yeah. Oh wow. Look, speakers I love a good saxophone. But
I actually really wanted to learn it, but I didn't.
oh,
And I don't
think it's
regret
just-
it.
Look, I appreciate a good sax like solo so much.
True.
Like if you're just like vibing and then someone like just starts going hard with the saxophone, it's like, damn.
For sure.
All right, go off, I guess.
I gotta send
I
you.
guess.
I gotta send you a TikTok about two saxophone players on the street just play. Like it sounds like the saxophones are having an argument, but it's like
Oh my God,
so.
dueling
Oh.
saxes.
It was the dueling saxes, and you're like,
I haven't seen that.
and like
I love it
one's dressed like Cassidy from Overwatch, the other one's dressed like Diva. I think it was like at a gaming convention, but they were just like going at it, and it was beautiful. It was art.
Cute. I love
that so much. Oh my God.
But yeah, so I did school band, not to end it. I always feel like I'm like jumping back in, back about me.
No, hey,
No,
Um,
this
this
is
is
about
quite
you.
literally
This
just
is
for you to
literally.
talk about yourself. We are here to get to know you. Please go
well,
off.
thanks everyone. But yeah, so I did school band, and I feel like this part of the story is kind of important because like when you're playing school band, it's very different from like becoming a music artist type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like growing up, you're like, okay, I did flute. Like in college, I was like, I don't want to do like college marching band. It just didn't seem like a thing for me. And instead I joined gospel choir and I was like,
Mm.
oh, this is awesome. I wasn't even like
Oh,
fully comfortable singing in front of people at this point. But I just had like friends who were like, let's do this. And I was like, yeah. And so then sang through college and started to get more confident. But then after graduating, it was still one of those things of like even just becoming a content creator, it's like how do you do these things, how do you become an artist? Like it just feels so foreign when you just
yeah.
grow up in like a regular like life as a regular person, and not having like connections or coming from a big city or anything. And yeah, so I just worked like a regular job and I was like, well, music's done, that was fun. I spent like 10 20 not 10 I mean not 20 like 15, I don't even know anymore. 12. Let's say 12. 12 years being a musician. And then you're like, well, time to just join a 9 to 5. And then you're unhappy and you're like,
Mhm.
why am I unhappy?
Yeah.
And my grandma was like, why isn't Kisos doing music anymore? Like, what? And I was like, I don't know how. What do I do? So I was like, you know what? Let's just move to New York City.
Oh my
That's easy,
God.
right?
Oh my
So
God, that's a
just
wild like journey
it
going
was a
to.
lot.
Oh my God,
It was a
yeah.
lot. Yeah, because I'm from California
Okay.
and
Oh,
I had like family in like LA and like Seattle near Washington or Washington near Seattle area. And I was like, if I'm gonna move, let's just move far. And all I had was like 2 roommates who were down to move with me, and we didn't have like an apartment lined up or jobs lined up. We just got our one-way ticket. We did that like
You
stereotypical
just
like movie
wow.
move
Yeah, this is like
and just
very. This
went.
is a movie. This is a Netflix movie right now.
And it worked. It worked out eventually.
yeah.
Eventually. But yeah, I mean, it was the power of things getting better and like trusting your intuition and just like going for it.
Yeah.
No,
What's your zodiac sign again?
A Leo.
Okay. Yeah,
My
that
birthday
makes.
was Tuesday.
I was gonna say like, oh my God, it's like right around now. Oh my
Happy
God,
Yeah.
birthday.
Thanks.
That's honestly that's just good energy and good manifesting, and that's what that does. I believe in manifesting. Like if you
I
say
do
it to the
too.
universe, it's probably gonna happen. I don't know. And if it
So
doesn't, that's
here's
okay.
the thing
Yeah.
for me about manifesting. I didn't used to believe in it because I'm just like, I don't get it. Like there's so many things you could say, and it's like you have to put in the work to get it, which is always true,
Hmm.
regardless. But in my head, I was just like, I don't get it. And over time, I became like this bitter person because like things weren't working out. And then I was like, I'm being bitter and things aren't working out. What if I try not being bitter,
Whoa.
stop being a hater,
Whoa.
maybe like advocating for myself and like
Yeah.
going for it? And I feel like that's how I got to like a happier place where I am now of like,
I
yeah,
love
like things are gonna work out. Life is abundant. Like all the cheesy stuff you hear growing up, but and you're like, whatever, it's just like sayings, but it's actually like the absolute truth of the universe.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that like especially if you're not in a good spot like mentally hearing that kind of stuff is like okay,
Right.
go away, whatever.
Right.
But it's like so real. It's like, like fake it till you make it. It's just like
Right.
having a positive like outlook will help you feel more positive. Like it's literally your brain. I feel like I say this like I go off on my own little tangent about this so often lately is like your brain doesn't know when you're lying or telling the truth.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
if you lie to yourself in a positive way and be like, "Oh my God, like things
yeah.
are gonna be great. Everything's gonna be great. Things are great." It'll like start to believe that, and it's like even when like it's why like I'm really not a fan at all of self-deprecating humor. And I've
Same.
Mm-hmm.
been
Oh my
I
God,
really,
agree.
really,
same.
really, really trying to like not do that and stuff is because like if you tell your brain these things, it'll start to believe that. And even if like you're saying them as like a joke, it's like your brain will be like, oh, that okay, that's
Yeah.
real, I guess. And it's just so yeah, I love that it's like, yeah, changing your outlook and then it's like, yeah, okay, things start working out. And I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to like cut. Yeah, I had to talk to my therapist about that because she was like, "I'm noticing that you're calling yourself the worst a lot," and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh." It's like maybe
Mm,
what if you like didn't say that, or it was like, "No, Blizz, you're the best," or anything like that. I'd be like, "Okay, let me try that." Turned it around. I felt very happy about myself. I now think very positively about myself. Anytime I catch
Yeah.
myself talking crap about myself, I punch myself. Like,
Well, don't do that either.
not punch myself like
I know what you mean.
physically,
I
but
know what
like
you mean.
metaphorically, like, no, you can't do that.
Right. Stop.
No, stop that. But yeah, honestly, Ash, you put it perfectly. I was gonna say, like, false confidence sometimes becomes real confidence if you keep lying
Yeah.
enough. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
I was
it's on the false confidence. Just kidding. It's actual
yeah.
confidence.
I had
Yeah.
a call with my friend the other day, and we were both like, yeah, you gotta have like a little delusion. You do,
A little bit,
because
just a little.
sometimes that's what takes you out of it and just helps you shoot for the stars. I know for me, what worked the most for me was not so much like, what am I trying to say? Basically, I'm trying to say I stopped worrying so much about failing because I realized that's where my own like pressure and like self-deprecation was coming from. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? If I fail at something, and again, it's like all the sayings that you hear growing up, like if you fail once, get up and try again.
Yeah.
And you're like, my world is over though. I just failed and I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed and everyone thinks all these things. And it's like, first of all, people aren't really worried about you. They're worried about their own things.
Oh my god, they
Second
are.
of all, exactly. Second of all, like once I just started realizing like, okay, anytime I don't get like an opportunity I reach out for, again, cliche, but it's like a no isn't a never. It's just like a not now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna work on myself. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna, even if you can't think of like the ways to say like I'm the best, just to find those little things of like, okay, I'm proud of myself for this, or I'm glad that I make unique this. And like you
Yeah.
said, slowly like the Lego blocks, building it up and getting in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I love that. I'm gonna start using that. Um, yeah, so in your intro, we kind of talked about this a little bit too. We talked about how you created a show called Queeratine. Can
Yeah.
Mhm.
you tell us more about what inspired you to create that show?
Yeah. So I was way more active on Twitch like, 2018 to like 2022 or something. And especially when the pandemic hit and a little bit before that, I started to, cuz again, I'm a musician. I was like, how can I like help other people, because there's just so many talented indie artists out there that like have like 100 listeners but sounds just as good with someone that has like a million, like
Mhm.
legitimately a million. So I'm like, how do we like bridge this gap? How can I help people like just learn the music business side of it? So I started doing like these music marketing episodes. And once the pandemic hit, there were so many people that were just like, everyone was like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? Where's the meeting space? And I was like, you know what would be fun? Something super casual. I didn't expect it to be like this series that happens for like 3 years basically. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do a little show. Like all my friends released music videos recently. We're just gonna do a little show. I'm gonna bring on a co-host. We're just gonna watch music videos together and just like chat with everyone. And after every single video, it was one of those things where it's like, has to be positive. Like, I don't care if you mean well. There is no critiquing. Find something to appreciate. Kind of like what we're saying about building ourselves up.
Mhm.
Like, and everyone's gonna comment, everyone's gonna like, everyone's gonna subscribe, everyone's gonna follow all the artists. Not enforcing that,
Yeah.
but just saying like, here's the ethos of the show. And it just took off, understandably, for like 2 years. It's how I got an ambassadorship with It Gets Better, and we did some episodes with y'all, which was lovely. And yeah, I think the like big stats were like 40 plus episodes, 300 plus artists featured, and we raised like $12,000 for different charities during that time.
Oh my
Hell
god.
yeah.
So it's one of those things where like when it was happening, you're just focused on like the stress of like making it happen every single week and like putting the pressure on yourself and not so much enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
And looking back, at least, I can very much appreciate it and be like, oh, this was like a big deal for like our community and introduced so many people to each other, and I think strengthened our like indie LGBT music community. Yeah, so it's been amazing. It's on pause now, but I do have plans to bring her back.
Wonderful.
Okay. A little spoiler. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, honestly, so I showrun for a company that I work for, and creating a show, creating just things in general, producing is
Yeah.
the hardest thing to get into sometimes. But like once you
Yeah.
see I guess the fruit that the tree is bearing, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, no, this is all worth it. It all makes sense. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy about it.
It's
100%.
definitely a lot of energy, but yeah,
Yeah.
you can look back now and be like, hell yeah, that was great. Cause like I know that it's especially like you're not even done like your current episode and you're already like thinking about how to get the
The
next
next one.
going,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You
100%.
don't have time to breathe. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
So it was like the nice thing about the pandemic was I was like, okay, before that I was kind of like working for myself and I was like, okay, I can like get some unemployment so I could kind of just focus on it. But still, it's just one of those things of, especially because it's all like underrepresented artists, like even within the LGBT spectrum, making sure that we're highlighting as many artists of color and different
Mhm.
gendered artists and all of those things. So I was like, I just want to make sure I'm like doing right by everyone and all those things. And it's like,
Yeah.
just you are. All of us are. Like
You
anytime you
are.
wonder if you're making a difference, you are.
No.
Mhm.
And
It's true.
you did a show with you did a queer and teen show with It Gets Better Project as well. Can you dive a little bit more into that?
Yeah.
How was it? Did you have fun? I'm assuming
Oh, it was
yes.
amazing. It was much nicer having, some support from It Gets Better versus doing it on my own, having like nicer branding. I'm like, okay, when I like bring this back, I need to like refresh it all. But yeah, it was amazing. We did like one a month or so, and then kind of parlayed that actually into doing an in-person tour. So that was a great way to just
That's
kind of
cool.
feel like, okay, we're having this kind of big finale, ending it big with It Gets Better, at least in that iteration. And yeah, it was beautiful. And we did some after show stuff too, which was cute, and like did like little games and brought on even more hosts. So it,
Oh,
it was really it was expansive, and It Gets Better made it more expansive. So
yeah, that's
thank you.
great. So so that was your like grand finale, which is fantastic. But what made you want to transition back to like music after doing the show for a bit? Is it just like
Yeah.
inspiration from all those artists? Like
It was definitely inspiration. I'll be honest, since we're talking about kind of like getting to that good place, that's when I was honestly kind of bitter. Now, I wasn't like angry at these artists. I wanted to support them, but I was kind of bitter at myself because I was like, I have to do all of this stuff for these artists and I don't have any time for myself. And
mm,
I just wasn't allowing myself to choose myself because I didn't want to let anyone down. It also goes to like people pleasing. That's a whole other topic.
Um,
Um,
Gamer, you got to put yourself on the front burner. Stop putting yourself on the back
Right.
burner. That's what I tell
Sometimes you
people.
just have to pause. So honestly, at first, it wasn't even me putting myself first. It was us bringing an in-person tour to the world. So we did like 8, 9, 10, something around there, dates down the East Coast, which was really cool. But again, stressful. And again, I was like, I don't have time to work on my own music because I'm just working on all this stuff for other people, and I want to do this other work for other people. And yeah, I just wouldn't allow myself to cut it out. And eventually I was like, okay, I can always do quarantine again,
Yeah.
mm,
but I need to do my music right now. Like sometimes you just have, for some reason, those simple thoughts just don't click. I will say I did go back to therapy. That was
oh
very
yeah.
helpful.
Oh, yes.
That was a major key, DJ Khaled. Um, That's so old, but it just came. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I just like once we finished all the in-person dates, I was like, I can't. We actually cut it short because I was like, I can't.
Mm,
And it was nice to kind of connect with myself in a way that I hadn't in a really long time. And really just like spend time finishing this music and nourishing myself so that by the time the music could come out, I could be this like happier, fulfilled, more stable version of myself that we're talking with right now. Because before I was kind of like faking it till I make it, and it worked to a degree, but I wanted to get those like final steps and really feel like, yes, I am what I say I am. I
yes.
am happy. I am fulfilled. Or at least I know when like those bumps in the road hit, I can stand back up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, I just
that's
thought in chat, but learning how to prioritize and center yourself is so hard. So like
Amen.
incredible,
Thank you.
incredible.
I mean,
Thank
also
you.
learning those low points and like what you can do to cater to yourself or cope
Right.
with those low points is very important as someone who goes or deals with depression and also social anxiety. It's
Yeah.
it's hard, but once you catch
Mm,
those signs, you're like, oh wait, I remember when this happened last time. I can do
Right.
this to help cope with that situation or help me in this
Mhm.
situation. Um, wow, you're just a cool person. You're a really cool person.
Thank you.
I'm just like, oh, I'm hearing you like just speak about everything, and I'm like, this is so
it's very
cool.
mhm.
But I
I'm
want
having a great time too. I love y'all.
I want to talk, I guess, do a deeper dive into like your music a little bit. Tell
Mhm.
us how you begin creating songs for your new EP, and like what did you want to share with these songs?
Yes. So my new EP is called Autophagia, which is a fancy word for like self-cannibalism. So it's a dark title, but I swear it has a very
It's
happy
metal.
ending.
It's metal.
I mean, it's kind of metal. Actually, when I looked up other songs that had that name, it was all like metal
Mhm.
screamo bands. And I was like,
Hilarious.
okay, maybe I should do a remix with one of y'all. But usually it kind of depends. So like when I first started making music, it was more just like, okay, I'm just gonna write what's on my mind. The songs didn't necessarily go together, like they kind of did, but whatever. My second EP was all like after a breakup. And this one, I was like, okay, this one, not that those things weren't important or substantial or needed to come out, but I was like, I just kind of want to say a little more. Like, I kind of want to, I always say that I make music to break your heart and heal your soul. Cause I'm like, I want to cry together and then I want to heal together,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So with the new music, honestly, it was kind of just like all of the trauma of the pandemic kind of attacking me, and I didn't feel super inspired, but when I did kind of feel a song coming, I was like, oh, instant. Like I think
Yeah.
this EP has like, it has 5 full songs on it on a little interlude, and maybe I wrote like 6 or 7. Like I basically used every single thing I wrote because I was like, it's kind of like a diary, like a snapshot of what I was feeling in those moments. So it goes from like the anxiety and overwhelm of the beginning of the pandemic to a song called Bite Your Tongue, where it's kind of just reacting to the anger of like how many people are like fake on social media and pretend that they care about, all the things going on in the world, like Black Lives Matter protests and, all the mass shootings happening and all these, things, and people who like just kind of use it for clout, or the people who are just like, it's not that big of a deal. Or, just like, ooh, you're like, ah, censoring ourselves for the audience. But and then it goes into like loss, because I thought that my roommates, who I've lived with for like 10 years now, since I moved to New York, same roommates, at least one of them, same roommate, he's been my best friend for a long time, and I thought he was gonna leave because he was talking about it and they were gonna take the dog.
Oh my
And I was
god.
like, no,
Oh my god.
I can't. I mean, not out of like malice or anything,
Yeah.
but just like,
But that's
oh,
also
I
an
just don't.
emotional pet that
For
I
me,
need.
Yeah.
for me, yeah,
Yeah.
like emotional pet beyond. We'll get to that in a second because bad news. Um, so my roommates were gonna move and then they didn't. But when I thought they were, I wrote this song about kind of like it's called Transience, and it's about kind of like having these like hallucinations that they're still there after they're gone. And it's just
Oh.
kind of like reflecting on like isolation and missing all of your friends, missing all your loved ones, because at this point it was maybe like 2021, and we still
Mm.
hadn't really gotten to like see family, especially because my family's all on the West Coast. A lot of my friends
Yeah.
had moved out of NYC during the pandemic, so I was just kind of like, I'm alone.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, luckily there was some good news, and like my roommate's not moving away. But then my dog passed away suddenly
Oh,
last year,
I'm so
So
and
sorry.
sorry.
then a couple months later, my last grandparent passed away.
Oh my god.
And that's where I kind of was like, okay,
Oh god. Okay, yeah.
rock bottom. And this was my dog passed away right before we did this in-person tour.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
So I'm like coordinating. I had a co founder friend person who was doing it with me, but still we're
Yeah.
in the midst of like coordinating like 30-40 artists for these 10 dates, and being our own like publicists and booking agents, all these things, and I'm trying to do music at the same time. And then that happens, then we're going on tour, we're coordinating the next tour, and then my grandpa passes away. Sometimes everything really happens all at once. Exactly.
Yeah.
It gets
Sometimes
better.
it does.
And I don't want to say necessarily that like everything happens for a reason, and like, oh, like all these big plans, etc. But I do know that loss changes you, and for me it actually changed me for the better. Like again, I'm not grateful for it. I'm grateful for the change. I'm not grateful for how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wrote a song called The Hole You Left, which is honestly, it's very generic, but I think it's really powerful in its genericness. It's just basically about sinking into that feeling of like loss and grief. And that's when I kind of pulled the plug on quarantine, was like, I need to just get back into myself and
Yeah.
connect with my family and friends again, and just spend time with myself and go back to therapy and all these things. And a fun fact about me is that I'm actually a sperm donor for one of my friends who is a lesbian
Oh,
couple, and they had the baby like a year and 5 months ago, so March 2022.
oh my
And
gosh.
I credit that a lot with also kind of helping me feel like, you know what? The thing that's going to motivate me to be happy and to be myself again after all this time is thinking about this beautiful, perfect little innocent child and how you just want to pour all this love
Oh,
into the next generation. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I absolutely don't want to shame anyone going through depression. I've been there. So know that I have the best intent with these words, but I know for me, and not in a shaming myself way either, I know for me, I owed it to myself and I owed it to everyone else to be the best version of myself. I felt like that was a way for me to kind of honor the people that I lost and that I missed. Instead of kind of reflecting on that loss, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take all of the happy memories, all of the best times I've ever had in my life, and I'm going to pay that forward. I'm going to reabsorb it for myself and I'm going to pay it forward because I want to be a help to everyone. I want to help heal people the way I have been healed by their love. And I don't want to focus on the negative. And that kind of leads into the last song, which is this happy, like, you know, you're kind of like, oh, I'm still disoriented. You're coming back from rock bottom. Like it's bright out.
Yeah.
Like I always say, it's kind of like, have either of you seen Kill Bill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know when she's like punching her way out of the coffin? I
Mhm.
think it's in the second one. That's what I feel like this last song, 6 Feet Under, is kind of like. It's
Mhm.
like, you know what? You're like, you're about to give up. And you're like, actually, I'm
Mhm.
not. You thought, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna thrive. I'm gonna, like, this little seed of hope inside of you is just like, no, like, we're gonna be happy. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna share our light and our love. We're gonna make amazing music. We're gonna have great friendships and we're gonna heal ourselves and each other at the same time. And it's
Hell yeah.
cheesy, but it's true.
But it's I wouldn't even say it's cheesy. I feel like it's just needed. Sometimes
Cheese
you
is
need to hear
iconic.
it. Cheese,
I mean, poutine, like cheese, you
Yeah.
cannot go
it's
wrong with cheese.
iconic. It's iconic. Hopefully, I will try poutine one day. I was gonna say like yeah, I that's actually why I feel like I resonate or I adore the artist Paramore or the band Paramore
Yes.
because
Mhm.
a lot of their stuff is talking about mental illness or like
Yeah.
hiding there's mental illness behind there, but
Right.
it's like also with like upbeat music and you're like oh it's a cool like dynamic there, but also
Yeah.
it's just people going through things and you just relate to
Mhm.
it. So
Right.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of reminds me, like, I know you called it like generic, your song about loss,
Mm.
but I feel like it's not like generic. It's just like something that we all go through.
mhm.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's just like it's relatable and something that everybody can like connect to. So it's not
Right.
generic. It's just
Well, thank you.
something that is like a shared experience.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
something
I
that's
wanted it
needed.
to be, you know, kind of like I made it as universal as possible.
Mhm.
And usually, I think the reason I say that is because usually I'm like, oh, I want to use like Bjork poetry lyrics and stuff. And on this one, I was like, I'm sinking into the hole you left behind. But you know what? If it hits, it hits, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
If
Ashley.
it hits, it hits. I actually have a question. Who would be like your dream collabs?
Ooh, okay. So without limiting myself, like I said, I do love Bjork. I
Yeah.
think I mean, technically it's Bjork. Love her. She's a wild child.
Mhm.
But my absolute favorite artist of all time is Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh,
My music is nothing like her.
I love
But
Jasmine Sullivan.
she's been my favorite artist for a long time. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, when you're like a smaller artist still going through it, and I mean, a small creator of any size, you're like, there's so many people I would love to create with.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I'll say Jasmine Sullivan, top.
Everyone, go to Twitter at Jasmine Sullivan and
At
Kisos,
J Sullivan Music.
and then you already have the at, so just go ahead.
Funny story. Yeah, of course. Well, actually, I think she actually got her full name now. It used to be J Sullivan Music. There's a funny story back when I was a little bit I guess more confident before I had lost some of that confidence. I literally DM'd her like multiple times being like, can I like clean your tour bus? Like I just want
Oh
to
my
like
God.
be around greatness. Like I'll do anything. Hi, Jasmine.
Hello, please.
Hey, can I clean your tour bus real quick?
I still will. I
And
still will.
But
Like if I can just go to 1 or 2 shows, I'll even pay my own way. Like I just want to like be in your essence.
yeah, look, we just gotta like, you just
Yeah. I
Start
need
somewhere.
this.
manifest.
Yeah, manifest.
Manifest beyond cleaning the tour bus. Manifest collab. Manifest
Yeah,
collaboration.
collab.
Should
At
be
least
fun.
like opening slot. You know what I mean? At least
Yes.
like writing a song together.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
I would
Oh
say,
my
is
God.
there any other? I guess who do you listen to, and who inspires your music? I guess for artistry.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like y'all will probably feel the same way where growing up you're like, oh, I had my like emo rock phase, and then you have
Mhm.
your like mainstream pop phase, and
It's
then
not
you
a
have your like
phase. It's not a phase. Sorry.
well, yeah, no, correct. It's not even a phase. It's an era. We had our little
So
eras.
I'm an
'Cause if you
elder
put
emo kid.
exactly, I'm like, if
Yes.
you put that back on, I'm still partying and singing
Mhm.
along. I forgot the question, honestly.
It's fair.
We got really excited about being other emos. That's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, we had to
I
share
mean,
that.
even like on TikTok, I'm obsessed with Haley Williams. At a Paramore
Oh,
concert,
for sure.
Steph Curry was on stage because he went to the Paramore concert. He's a Paramore fan apparently, and I was like,
Yes.
"That's so cool!"
And I loved if you saw the video of Rico Nasty
Yeah,
collabing with Paramore, I was like, oh, this is so cool too. Because you
it's
think of like Paramore, I mean, they're still very current, modern, like slaying the game. But
Mhm.
in my head, I'm like 2008, baby. Or like 2007.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm
cool to
stuck in
see them like,
2008.
yeah, like it's cool to see them like bringing like newer people on board. And yeah, but yeah, my influences, they're very all over the place. I would again say Bjork. I think there's little bits and pieces of all the people I've listened to, like some of the emo stuff like Motion City Soundtrack, Mayday Parade, like kind of like pop rock punk people from like back then. Definitely like Destiny's Child, like
Ooh.
R&B group stuff. And then like the funky folky stuff like Bjork. I mean, not necessarily folky, but I feel like it's kind of this conglomeration of like alt pop, alt R&B
Yeah.
mixed together.
That's great. Look, it's like taking inspiration from like a bunch of different like genres is like makes
Yeah.
a really unique sound. So that's awesome.
Do y'all know Maggie Rogers? Have you heard of her?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Alaska Girl? I was like, oh, like her new music is very different from Alaska, but I was like, oh, I feel like this EP, Autophagia, is kind of giving Alaska because it's kind of
Mm.
like pop, but like my blend, but with that ethos of just kind of like doing what you want, kind of like adding things in. It's like earthy, but it's also electronic at the same time, and balancing those things with like songwriter bass as well. So that's the vibe.
That's cool. I love Maggie Rogers.
Yeah.
Great. Great voice. Great
Love
music.
her.
Top tier.
I
But
s-
Agree.
fantastic. Oh my God. Hold on. You use a variety of instruments in your music.
I do.
Oh my God. How do they tie into like the vibe and overall like story of your stuff? Do you like pick different instruments for like the different vibes? Please.
I
I am
do.
such a fan of people who can like do a bunch of stuff with a bunch of instruments. So I need
yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. Yeah. So it's funny. I started like I said earlier, like I played flute growing up from like age 9 to like 18. And at some point I was like, why don't I put this in my music? So I did. And it's funny because it's on like the Transient song, which is kind of like this kind of like losing your mind song. And there's like this cute flute in the background, but it kind of adds to it like this just like disconnect. But then I also put it in like the happy ending song so that it could be this like flowy, heavenly vibe. And it's actually the exact same flute that I've had since I was 9. And I have it right behind me.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Look
I
at her
love that.
go.
There it is.
One little note. I'm like, I don't want to blast nobody's ears. And then something cool that I did on this other on this EP on another song was, so I'm half Mexican and part Armenian as well. And Armenia is like near Turkey for people who don't know. It's a smallish country. But my grandpa was Armenian. And so during the pandemic, I was kind of inspired to learn more about my heritage. And so there's a very famous instrument called the duduk. You probably don't recognize the name, but you recognize the sound.
I'm
It's one of
Googling
those
it
things.
now.
You might not know her name, but you've definitely heard of her. Um, and it's called like the saddest instrument in the world because it's kind of like a reeded, like kind of sounds like saxophone, but like oboe-y. Like I have her too.
Oh
She
my
needs
God.
some warm up, so I don't know if she'll play. But let me back up a little bit and see.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind
Okay.
of sexy, like Middle Eastern-y feel.
it's a better saxophone. Sorry,
It is a better
saxophone lovers.
Really
My
nice.
bad.
It's calmer.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to play it because I just self-taught myself. So when I'm recording, I just like, yeah, toot Chanel. I just like play like whatever little things, and then sometimes I'll like manipulate the notes later, or I'll like accidentally stumble into things. But that's
Yeah.
in Bloodshot as well as The Hole You Left because saddest instrument. So you know, I wanted to like really add that like mournful flavor. So it's cool. I want to like learn more instruments. I'm one of those people. I feel like most people are, but I'm like, I want to learn every language. I want to learn every instrument. I want to know how to cook every kind of food, you know, all that stuff. So it's fun to
Yeah.
slowly add it into the
Yes.
recipe.
I love that. Oh my God. Be like self-teaching an instrument is so great because like I like self-taught like myself how to like play piano and like drums a bit, but I'm not good. It's just
Mm,
like I basically can play some like video game songs by ear and just like hope for the best and
that's
like
cute
one
though.
Radiohead song.
Okay. It's
One.
funny. This year I was like, you know what? Because I took a complete break from streaming for a while too. And even now I'm only doing like one a week. But I was like, I kind of want to like stream learning an instrument. Like even if it's just like getting better at like guitar or something. Because I'm like, I can play chords, but I can't do anything like fancy. I'm like, I need that TikTok algorithm skill. You know what I mean?
And
Same
people,
with piano.
I would say people on Twitch really love in my mind I call it parallel playing, but it's like
Yeah.
what is it, what's
Mm,
the other term for it that I
Co-working?
duetting?
co-working, duetting, something like
Yeah.
that. But it's being
Body double?
productive together.
Oh,
Body
yeah,
Body
yeah,
double.
yeah.
doubling, body doubling. So
Oh, I
like
haven't heard of that term.
people love to body double on Twitch. So like I used to do like Lego building streams and would just build Legos and people would be like, this is
Mm,
nice because I can start crocheting while you build and like I can
Mhm.
start
mm,
doing this project while you do this. And I'm
yeah.
like, people love that opportunity and also would love to see you grow in a talent. So
Right.
like that's
Achieving.
cool. Like achieving and stuff. That's so
Yeah.
super cool.
It is
Thanks.
literally such a good idea to do that. I feel like that would pop off. Like
Okay, doing it right now.
Okay. I would say, look, I
I know.
tried to learn the kalimba, so we're still getting there.
Oh,
I
one of
want
the
to
like
kalimba
little.
so bad. Oh,
Yeah, I learned how to play a lot of the Zelda theme songs or Zelda
that's
just
why I taught
songs in
Oh,
myself on the
general.
piano.
Yeah, the Zelda songs are
yes.
so easy to learn. Like they're simple to get in, and then once you're in, you're like,
Mm,
look, I can do this cool thing.
right.
Here's Lost Woods.
Yeah.
Slay. Anyway, this is Lost Woods.
And the chat goes, "Yay, you did it! You
Yay,
Yeah,
learned."
awesome. We
that's
love
cute.
that.
Well, I'll have to recruit you for my next song.
It would be an honor.
Kalimba and piano, Ashley. We can
Oh
do
my
it
God,
all.
me just like I haven't played the piano in so long. I'm just gonna like smashing
Just
it.
plink around.
We'll
Just
start learning. No, we'll start training now, and then we're
yeah,
gonna
there
be
you go.
experts
For
by
2025.
for 2025.
No, I'm just kidding. We can do it faster. We can do it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll say like next year maybe. I'll get a
Yeah,
keyboard.
that's 4 months, 5 months.
Oh,
So
don't you just made me realize the passage of time way too fast.
Sorry.
Oh,
it's
fine.
2008.
Redacted.
It is 2008.
Redacted.
Everyone,
Exactly. Okay, there we go. There we go.
let's hold our horses. 2000. I never meant to brag. So being an independent creator is fun. It has its good sides. It also has its bad sides. There are
Yeah.
sometimes where we are so in. Oh my God, my phone. So into the thick of it that we forget to ask for help or ask for
Mm,
anything because we think that
mm.
we can do things by ourselves and you don't necessarily have to do that. So my long-winded question for you is, with independent creation, do you see if there's still value in asking for help? And could you tell us more about that?
100%. Now, here's the thing. Again, this was a lesson I learned recently because before I was one of those, maybe it's like being a Leo pride thing, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it all myself, every single thing, and you're gonna gag. But But then I would do it on myself and I wouldn't be confident in it. And I'd be like, ooh, I don't know if I want to release this. So I did take classes, which in a way was asking for help. It was like, checking myself and being like, you know what, I'm gonna take some production classes, mixing master classes, and like get better at this. But then once I was ready to release this music, that's when I really started asking for help. And a lot of times I was like, oh, I'm happy to pay for your expertise. And people are like, no, I just want to help. Like there's so many times that, first of all, I just always, if I have money, I'm like, I want to pay you, baby.
Yeah.
Because I know how hard it is out here to be a creator.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I called a friend and I was like, hey, I used to do PR, but I haven't in a while. Do you mind having like a little consulting chat? And she was like, yeah, sure. You don't have to pay me. Like, let's just do it. And we did it. It was great. Did another thing with like going over music, or like people reaching out to remix that like, I had talked about like, oh, I think I might reach out to this person. And then like 4 other people are like, oh, I would love to do a remix. Just like or like asking for like discounts, like asking for little things. And it's kind of goes back to that failing thing of like the worst they can say is no. Like it's not like I'm saying, hey, can you do a whole music video for me for $50? That's
Yeah.
different. But if you're like, hey, I have kind of a budget like this, what do you think? And figuring out a way to like work things out. So I feel like this year I call it my soul bounty. Because I feel like once I like opened myself up and started asking for help, and again started advocating for myself, putting up boundaries, saying no to a lot more things, and focusing like laser focus on exactly what I want, like all these things started happening. Like I would just say, hey, you know what? I kind of want to do more shows. And a friend who lives in LA when I'm in NYC is like, oh, we have a spot on a lineup. Do you want to come do it? And then another friend sees I'm going to LA and they're like, oh, we are doing a show that same weekend. Do you want to do a show with us too? And literally it's just been like nonstop beautiful stuff like that. So obviously I'm also on a high of the roller coaster because things are just working out. But I do know within myself, I'm like, when I have felt those low things, I'm just like, it's gonna get better. No pun intended. It really is. I'm like, it gets better. It gets better. I can feel my future. And I used to feel kind of, I guess, awkward, or kind of like I didn't want to come off cocky. It's like, what's the difference between confidence and cockiness, or humility and believing in your worth? And I'm like, you know what? As long as I'm not tearing anyone down, I'm going to talk my talk. Like,
Yes.
and that the thing also, I think, is knowing like we all have room to grow. But at the same time being like, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm so excited. I'm happy to help other people. I'm happy to give whatever I can. But also like nobody can do what I do. And that sounds cocky, but what it actually means is like people can actually do what you can do, but they can't be who you are.
Yeah.
And that's really what sets you apart, is like your own unique personality, charisma, all of that stuff. Again, going back to the cliche sayings that are just like, whoa, it's really true. So yeah, I just feel like asking for help has helped me come into myself and realize, I still love doing as much as I can by myself, but now not feeling any shame or worry about being perceived a certain way for asking for help, because asking for help is powerful. It takes a lot of courage to ask for help sometimes. And make yourself vulnerable. So yes, ask for help.
Yeah,
Yes.
I come from a family full of pride. I don't know where that came from, but
Oh.
my parents will never like ask for help when they need it, especially from their kids, because they have to apparently be the ones that have to have it all
Right.
together at all times.
Like,
And
I'm
it's
the
like,
parent.
yeah, I'm the parent. I have to have it all together at all times. And it's like,
Yeah.
that it sounds exhausting to have
my
it
God, yeah.
together 24/7. Oh my
Like no
God.
shot.
Like no,
Even
like,
12 hours a day is a lot. Come on.
And it's also all a lie, because there's no way
No
in
way.
hell that that's ever a thing that you can do.
But
No.
like sometimes bottling up those like emotions, or bottling up the need for help, you're going to have a breaking point where you're like, I
Mhm.
need help. And that's honestly for
Yeah.
me, that's what made me seek out therapy. Also, sorry, I have the little kalimba thumbs on. but
Oh, do it.
but that's the reason that like I wanted to get into therapy. I wanted to grow as a human being, and also take away that pride that was like embedded into me for my family. I didn't want
Yeah.
to be too prideful to ask for help. I
Yeah.
wanted to be myself and be human. It's hard. It's
Yeah, break
hard.
the cycle.
Break that cycle.
Yeah.
Amen.
The forever trauma.
Whew. but we're getting through it.
We're getting through
We're
it.
getting
You're
through
getting
it.
through it.
We're-
One step
Absolutely.
at a time.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's funny. I feel like a fortune cookie generator lately. Because I'm just like say all the basic stuff, but one thing I posted recently that I was like, I feel like this is powerful. Let's share this. Is I thought that, I used to shame myself. Again, when we've been creating for a really long time, you sometimes feel like, oh, I've been in this for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, even 3 years, it doesn't have to be that long. And you're like, I should be farther than where I am. And I used to shame myself a lot like that for a long time. And recently I was like, you know what? My options were never move faster or move slow. Sometimes my options were move slow or give up. And giving up, I never did that. So I need to be proud. I need to know that this is as fast as I could have moved with all of the things that life threw at me. And that's another moment where you're like, okay, I'm proud. I made it through. I asked for help when I needed help. And yeah, just there's no shame in going slow. So that's the point of that, I guess.
Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
own story, it's your own narrative. Like, don't let anyone dictate what you want to do or how your story is going to go. So
Yeah.
Amen.
See,
I
look,
really support
I
that.
got a good old tattoo on my arm. It's definitely a video game thing, but one of my tattoos is "This is my story" because it's like you just gotta focus on you. This is like
Yeah.
your journey, and it's gonna go how you want it to go, and you're
Everyone else
gonna,
Everyone can shut
yeah,
up.
exactly. Yeah, but it's great, and like we are coming up on time. However, since you literally just said you're like feeling like a fortune cookie. And so I need to ask, is there any like single piece of advice that you would give any like LGBTQ people considering or starting a career in like art or music?
Yeah, I think we dropped a lot of nuggets today.
Absolutely.
I think it all boils down to like just get started is actually the most important thing.
It is.
That's the taking that first jump is the hardest, it's the scariest, but also don't put so much pressure on yourself to like you have to do all of this stuff out of the gate. Like you can take it really slow. There's no shame in like working on what you're working on for like an hour a day. I will say I also realized I did personally, just for me, I was like, I needed to work harder. Now, actually, I needed to work more focused. I was
Mhm.
working hard, but I was working on all these things that I thought I had to do for other people. So I would say just focus in on what you want to do, take it slow. It is not too late. I will say that in big bold letters. So maybe it's that because I feel like nowadays, especially with like social media, I see people that are like, I'm 18 and is it too late? I'm 20. Is it too late? And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god. Oh
no,
my god.
You're like a baby. You're a
no.
baby. What do you mean?
You're just like this is the time that people usually start. Don't even
Yeah.
worry about it. So yeah, go slow, be you. Like every cheesy piece of advice you've ever heard. Again, we love the cheese. It's not a bad word here today. Just take it in. All the cheesy advice you've heard, sit on it and get yourself to really like feel it and believe it for your own life. Take it slow, take it easy, trust yourself, listen to yourself, trust your instincts, protect yourself, and spread love. Woo!
Amazing. And
Whoa.
it's so real.
Kisos, thank you so much
Really,
for being here first and foremost.
Yes.
And
thank
also, can
you.
you just let chat know where they can find you and chat? We
Yeah.
have estimation point Kisos in chat if you want to follow those links as well. But
Yeah, eat the cheese, everyone. Stairs in early
Eat the
30s.
cheese.
Yeah, see, that's
Consume the
me.
cheese.
eat the cheese.
Eat the cheese. I'll make us shirts with eat the cheese now. That's
Yeah.
actually kind
Hashtag
of
eat the
cute,
cheese.
honestly.
Eat the cheese.
But yes, my name is Kisos, Kisos. I'm at It's Kisos on all social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. And my new EP is called Autophagia, and it's out now. Also, if you're in NYC, I have a live performance this Saturday. Anyone out there? It's only $10, and I think that's it. I'm just excited to hear what you all think. If you listen to the music, I hope you had a great chat today. I had a great time with both of you and with everyone out there. And thank you to It Gets Better for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much
for
for your
being
time.
here.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for your show this weekend. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be
Oh,
amazing.
let me show y'all one quick
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
One quick thing.
Of course. Oh my God.
So my cover art, it kind of like balances beauty and brutality to kind of show like mental health journeys can be tough, but also like the ending like result is beautiful. and like you have to go through some pain sometimes to get there, but like you're gonna shine bright. Anyway, my friend made me the physical version of the mask that's on my cover art. I can't put it on myself, so you'll just have to kind of like
Oh,
imagine, but it's amazing. I'm gonna be wearing it at the live show for at least a song or two because it's
Oh my god.
she's fragile. She's not actually fragile, but
You just want to preserve. You want to preserve.
I want to
her.
preserve. Yes.
That is
Need
so
to
cool.
preserve. So I'm about to share that and shout out my friend Melissa. Woo, Melissa. Okay. And that's all. Thank you again.
yeah.
Oh my god, yes, of course.
Thank you for
Have a
talking to
beautiful
us
rest
and
of your
hanging.
day.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Should I just hit
Yeah,
the
Yeah, I
button?
think
like,
you know.
it's
mm,
Yeah.
Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay. I would love to talk to you, Ash, about
Yeah.
some queer news.
Oh my god, yes, of course.
But I'm going to mention it in a way of I haven't. The first thing that we're going to talk about, and be completely honest with you, I have not dived into it, and I have not, and I will in 2 weeks is when I'm doing a thing. But I have not. Tell me about Baldur's Gate. Let's go, because
I love it.
I didn't think I would
love
like
it
it,
very much.
but apparently it's
Oh my
D&D focused, and
We're getting a lovely raid. Zach, thank you so much for the raid.
Hi, Zach.
Hello. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Perfectly Queer. I hope you had a wonderful time hanging out with Zach. And welcome to the show.
I say Ashley's about to sell me on Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, you're about to hear me just pitch Baldur's Gate to Blizz, who has not played it yet, and I have played it for, as of today, 6.9 hours.
Oh.
Which is a lot less than other people have.
Oh.
However, I've only played it on stream because I have been busy otherwise. However, I've spent that much time in the last 3 days playing it on stream. So it's great. And I think it is so wonderful because I feel it's a breath of fresh air. And I think a lot of things are nowadays with like the character creation because it is non-gendered completely. There is just like voice 1, 2, 3, 4, body type 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's like more masculine, more feminine. You can mix and match whatever you want.
Oh, that's so
There's
nice.
also, you can customize a little bit everywhere without getting into specifics. And you can mix and match body parts. Doesn't matter. It's just vibes, which is incredible and awesome. And it just feels inherently incredibly like queer, very accepting, and it's just like so freeing to just like have that like just to not have to feel like you have to pick like, oh, I'm the man or I'm the woman. It's just this is the body type and this is the voice and this is the whatever. It's like that alone is great, and the character creation is great. Everybody's hot. That's kind of how it is. It literally, like, I was playing more today and I found like some new characters I hadn't seen before, and it was just like hello, and it was like, oh my god, hello, tucks hair behind ear, and then like literally 5 minutes later there's like another character that I mean, I'm like, oh, hello again. And they're just like, just ignore that guy, he's fine. Hello.
I'm just panicking 24/7 while playing this game.
Yes, you're literally just by panicking 24/7. It's great. And they're like fully just like they them pronouns. That was like a thing that they wanted to do from like the get-go. So there's like they just automatically just completely gender neutral pronouns. It's really great. I love it so very much. And I'm so excited for you to play it because it just feels like there's feels like there's no rules, which I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's the beauty of just D&D in general, though. It's like there's no rules. There's also a world where you can be whoever you want to be, and like I feel like online spaces and tabletop spaces are very similar in a way, because those are times for you to, if you want to experiment with pronouns, if you want to experiment, you know, being a certain type of personality, like that is the opportunity right there. That's why I didn't know Baldur's Gate was so D&D heavy until like people started talking about it more, and I was like, wait, I might like this.
It's
this
so good.
might be my game. But
God, it even hits in the same way that D&D does, where you will roll a nat 20 on the most useless roll ever. But if you're trying to save someone's life, you will roll a 2
or
every
your
time.
critical fail probably, and like
Yeah. It was literally like I went up to something and I'm like, oh, it says it's strange. It's like an animal. And then this animal like mooed at me like as a man because I knew it was a druid in like wild shape.
mm,
I had rolled a nat 20, so I knew that it was not an actual animal. 5 minutes later, I'm trying to save people's lives by getting them to like, fight for other people. And I roll a 2 and I do not succeed. And it's the same roll. It was like a perception, persuasion, whatever the heck. And I'm like, cool, that's fine. I don't need this, I guess.
oh
It's
my
so
god.
good.
Yeah, there was
It just
a
gives you the magic of D&D.
like when you mess
And
up, you mess up.
yeah, if you mess up, you mess up. 100%.
I know there was an article or a quote from one of the lead character artists, Alina Dubrovina. Nope, Dubrovina. There we go. Baldur's Gate is very focused on your identity and the ultimate fantasy where you can be whoever, whatever you want to be. And we wanted to
Yes.
have this represented. We believe that visual character creation options create a positive player experience. I notice it with myself when I play games or when I pick which game to buy, right? I'm looking at the characters and I want to look pretty. I want to look fun. I also want to
Yes.
look pretty. I also want to look fun.
Yes, I think this is like a wonderful thing. And this reminds me of something I saw on Twitter recently where there was a wonderful like post. I freaking really need to find it. I'm sure a lot of people have probably seen it because it went kind of viral. There was a trans woman that posted logging back into a game that she hadn't played since she was like a teenager. And when like she created that character back in the day, she like created like a woman, blonde woman, didn't look anything like she did at the time, and that like it was just kind of as like a goof and a gag. And then that was like her main that she played. And then as she like grew up, she like transitioned and hadn't played that game in like a decade, and then booted it back up, and then realized that the character that she had made back in the day is exactly what she looks like now. And it was the cutest, most wholesome thing. And I feel like it just really speaks volumes to how character creation in RPGs and stuff can be so like an outlet for a lot of people, even without even realizing it, right?
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Just like, yeah, be who you want to be. Just make a character
You
that
right.
like you want to in your heart. And it's so sweet. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anyone else in chat had seen that, but it is the sweetest thing ever.
It's sweet, I will say, but it's also a drag from the younger you because it's like, hey, I know who you are. And you're gonna come back to this and see that I was right.
Yeah, it's like, I know.
It's like you accidentally projected in a positive way, and now you're here. I got you. I've read you.
You were read to filth by your younger self, and you know what?
And that's
Good
the
for
way I
them.
want to go, honestly. That's how I want to live my life, is being read
Yes.
by younger me, but also catering to younger me.
Exactly. Perfect.
Speaking of our younger selves, and being me personally mentally ill, there was an article from NPC. There's an article from NPC basically talking about, the headline of it is LGBTQ teens often struggle to find mental health care tailored to them. I have things to say about this.
I have a lot.
I am someone who has had to go through therapists because I didn't feel like they understood what I was going through or talking about when it came to queer issues. So
Yes.
that's my tea. But you start.
Oh my God. I feel like I just have like a bit of a qualm with like, it just feels like I understand a bit, like sometimes like there's not like your lived experience. It's like hard to like empathize and relate to someone. However, it's just like I feel like it would do a world of good if more people like therapists and stuff, mental health professionals were trained more to deal with like those issues, you know?
Mhm.
Like it's just really, it makes me really sad. It breaks my heart knowing that there's so many people who need help, because like, God, being a teenager is really hard and it's really stressful. A lot's going on, even, in a situation where you don't feel othered in society. You feel othered basically as a baseline as a teenager, right? So just adding more like societal pressure feeling that way, and then not like going to, making the steps to get help, because like getting therapy as a teenager isn't easy.
It is
Getting therapy in
so
general
hard.
isn't easy, let alone like when you're younger, and it's like if your like parents don't really like approve of whatever the heck, there's just more hurdles when you're younger,
Yeah.
and just to like make it all the way there and then just be not listened to, and you just don't have anybody to like, they can't help you, is just heartbreaking. I can go on tangents, so please,
No, I
you
mean
can
you
take
hit
over and I'm sure I'll jump back in.
you hit like a lot of points. I mean, I was one of those kids that I desperately needed therapy growing up, and it was everything was kind of masked into religion, where it was like, oh, if you're like depressed, pray about it, go to church and stuff like that. And it's like that wasn't helping, but
Yeah.
I kept thinking something was wrong with me because I wasn't my issues weren't getting solved based on the thing that I was told would solve everything. So I was the defect or something. And it's like, no, I just genuinely needed therapy to deal with trauma and deal with like
Hmm.
me growing up. Um, but what I will say is that eventually I ended up finding a therapist when I was older. When I was older, oh my god, like a year ago. When I was older. Uh that focused on someone who was black and who was queer and understood the black queer experience. That's all I needed. It was the bare minimum of that, which is not a
Yeah.
bare minimum, but also bare minimum. Um,
Yeah.
I just wanted someone where if I explained something, I didn't have to give the background of that experience. They could automatically understand because
Yeah.
there's already that shared understanding of similar trauma. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's nice. It's so nice.
Yeah, it like alleviates like the legwork for you, like the trauma legwork. It's
Yeah.
just basically like if you can just say something and they like get it, it just, you don't have to relive that trauma as much. Like,
Yeah.
it it's very, very nice.
I say
And
that
it's,
that goes into representation just in general too now, because it's like, oh, I want to see people like me in certain spaces because they automatically understand what's going on without having
yeah,
to explain that. So
absolutely.
as
Absolutely.
I know in the article, so the young voice in this is, our youth voice in this interview is Fabi. Fabi says, I was disappointed to see um said of like the findings about about
Please.
the findings about queer teens not being able to find uh queer therapists or mental
Hmm.
health that cater to them. And also that, wait, it's analyzed from the National Mental Health Services survey. This is wild. Many providers
Yeah.
and organizations said that, or she said,
Yeah.
are not necessarily trained or equipped to interact with queer kids in a way that is sensitive, affirmative, and appropriate. Oh
That
God.
is so concerning on so many levels. Like, I like I said, like I get it's hard to like, I guess, interact with something that's so sensitive when it's not your lived experience. However, I
Yeah.
don't think it's that hard to interact in an appropriate manner.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like I I feel like this can stretch so much further to like maybe like, people like queer folks, or like, people from different just um my brain is turning off,
Yeah.
just underrepresented groups and stuff, like can't get like, like the schooling and things and stuff to become therapists. So it's like like the borders and barriers to get into that career in general are just like way higher than for like, like a cis white person going into the field of therapy. um so it's just like, it just goes further as like why it's like so hard for people to find therapists, because it's just like, it's a system thing.
Yeah. I mean, even like these organizations who do queer therapy or stuff like that, it's not really funded by the government or anything like that. I know there was a statistic saying in 2014 that the funding that they were getting was about probably
Mm.
like 20%. Within the 4 years of 2014 to 2018, it only went up to like 2% of
Oh
funding.
my
And it's
god.
like, why? You need more. You need more money to cater. What I
Yes.
will say though, there is a quote in here as well that's saying like finding people, it can be very hard. But Fabi, who is one of the voices in the article, talks about attending college and majoring in clinical psychology, which is just a very funny thing because for me, it's that whole saying that's like, I didn't see people like me in this, or I didn't see
Yeah.
that there
So
was
I
this much,
became
so
that.
I became it. And it's like, it's powerful. That is very powerful. I mean,
It
my
is
partner's
so.
a therapist right now, and one of the reasons that he wanted to do therapy was to talk to kids who are queer and like growing up queer and stuff
Which is
like that,
amazing.
which is so it's so
Quick
cool.
claps for Prof.
I know. Quick claps.
Love Prof.
Literally, it's just super cool to see, I don't know, people take that initiative being like, yeah, I want to be that for someone, because that's the reason I got into content creation. Was I didn't really see myself in content or in Twitch or anything like that. So I became it, and
Hmm.
hopefully to inspire other queer Black people to also create content or also just follow their dreams into something.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's. I'm sorry. I'm still kind of hung up on the wanting, like, going into clinical psychology, and it's just like, I know people. There's an absolute angel in my community named Cole who does a lot of work with like queer youth, simply for, like, for the same reason. It's just like they're queer and wanted to be able to help people that were like growing up in like harder times just because of like the different, you know, discriminations against them in their, you know, their varying identities. And it's just like people like that. First off, like, props, because like it's absolutely like staring in the face of like your own trauma
It
over and over
is. Oh
again.
my god, it is.
And it's just like choosing to brave that, just to be able to help people and give like the younger generation and younger folks like a better shot. And it's just, it makes me a little emotional because it's very, very lovely and very, very nice and very, very selfless. And it just gives me a lot of hope for people, because like it sucks that it's a like it's something that, you know, truly really has to be done, but it's just so great that people are willing to do that.
Yeah, it's I have so much faith in the younger generation because they
Hmm.
have such like a head on their shoulders,
Yes.
more of a head than I had like
Oh my
growing
god,
up.
yeah.
So like very aware of things like climate change and like how to change the world, and I fully just believe in them, and I believe
Hmm.
that we can all work together, to foster that change. But they're out there killing it,
Yeah,
and I appreciate it.
absolutely. We're the punk rock. We're back
They're
to punk
yeah,
rock.
we're
They're punk
back.
rock.
We are back to punk rock, and it's
Absolutely.
so good to see. So Ash, I'm
Yeah.
gonna end our news era right now, but
Yeah.
head
Move on to like
into
some lighter topics.
some lighter topics. What do you got planned for this week or this weekend? What are you doing? And is it unpacking?
Maybe. I feel like it's unpacking, but it's exciting because I feel like I'm gonna have actual time to sit and like go through stuff and unpack and things like that. Like, I finally am done going on my I'm barely home for an entire day because I'm out buying things for the house, so I can just like sit in the house and actually just like unpack and set things up
Yeah.
instead of just like going out, being exhausted, coming home and just seeing a bunch of boxes. So I'm hoping that this weekend I can make my office a little bit cuter and try to like get some stuff together. And I'm also gonna freaking play Palia finally, and then play
Yes.
more Baldur's Gate, and that's what I'm excited about. But what are you up to this week? What are you excited about?
Gosh. I'm going to a like outdoor concert type of thing on Friday, and it's called Girls, Gays, and Theys.
Oh, that's
And I
amazing.
was like, this sounds really cool. And got tickets to it. A lot of my friends and a lot of my coworkers are also going.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is gonna be a great time. But other than that, I'm honestly just going to take a breather. This week
Good.
has beat my butt randomly. I don't know why, but I'm gonna take a day to like exist and process my butt getting beat by the week.
That's amazing.
That's
Look,
and you need
you
it.
deserve it.
Sometimes you need it.
Absolutely. I hope you take a day this weekend to just sit and breathe and exist, because I feel like that's going to be a majority of like my Sunday. I'm just like
Yeah.
existing on Sunday.
I think I'm-
Saturday, productive. Sunday, recovery.
I think I'm also gonna try to find a new like spot area or a spot to eat in Austin.
Mhm.
Just for
Nice.
fun, like research and be like, is there anything cute around me that I can just go to and like find some good food
Oh my God.
and just a
I
new
just remembered.
experience?
I'm excited for
What?
the same reason. Yes.
Oh, because
I love finding a new spot.
yeah.
Finding new spots is great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I forget that you're in a new area, right? Oh, okay. So yeah, you need to open that Google Maps, start exploring. Now's the
Yeah, I found a
time.
really cute bakery last time I went out, and that was really fun.
Oh God, I love bakeries so much. There's one I'm planning on starting to do IRL streaming as well. And I told my chat
Fun.
I was gonna take him to a restaurant. And I'm gonna take him to this like little
Mm.
cafe actually, and we're just gonna like order some coffee or some tea and like get some cute little pastries for us to share and just talk. But I wanted to start doing IRL streaming, and I was like, I know this cute little queer cafe. It doesn't say it's queer, but the macaroons are in rainbow like
Oh,
hues, and then
there's
also
something.
there's flags everywhere with it, with the pride flag, and everyone working there has hair dyed, like their hair dyed in fun colors. So
It's got the vibes.
it's got the
We're
vibes.
picking up on the vibes.
It's picking up the vibes. I did when I went there I think at the beginning of July. So Pride was June. So July happened. I went up to the cashier and I was like, "Hey, happy Wrath."
Oh, right. This is your wrath.
They did not understand what I meant.
No. Oh, no.
Did not understand. And I said, "Never mind. Can I get a butter tart? Thank you."
Thanks.
Um,
Appreciate it.
I thought
Give me
everyone
my
knew.
wrathful butter tart.
I thought everyone knew, like, after Pride comes Wrath, and after Wrath comes Greed, I think? Are we in Greed? I don't know.
I don't know. All I
Great.
know is that I'm in sleep. That's what I'm in. What's that, sloth? Sure.
Sloth.
be
We
sloth
might
today.
be in Sloth. We might be in gay
We
sloth.
might be in sloth.
Everyone
We're
go take a
exhausted.
nap.
It's sloth time.
Go take a nap.
We're slothing. Oh, they're so cute. I'm gonna just have big old shovel claws. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna poop once a week.
Oh, that's bad. Don't do that one.
No, we're vibing. It's fine. We're vibing.
Don't poop once a week. If you are pooping once a week, please go see a doctor.
Yeah, go eat the fiber. August is now gay sloth. It is.
It is
yes,
gay sloth.
Gay sloth.
Um,
Congrats, everybody. Welcome to Gay Sloth. We are
Gay
10
Sloth.
days into Gay Sloth, and I think that's beautiful.
That's so beautiful. Ash, what's happening? I guess next
my God.
episode.
The next episode is going to be very exciting.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it. We are going to have a little myriad of guests. We're going to have a little grab bag of wonderful guests, because our next episode is about back to school. And
God, we're
going
back to
have
school.
Some It Gets Better ambassadors
Oh my
that
God.
are educators, which I love, and bless them.
Well, we have to take a test or quiz.
Oh, I
Ah.
mean, you know what? I mean, that might be up to them. I hope not. I'll have night sweats.
I did not study. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be studying, but I promise
wing
you,
it.
did not.
We're gonna wing it. Maybe I'll have my neurodivergent winging it and somehow still being on the honor roll through school vibes.
If it's a math
That-
quiz, that's homophobic. I'll say it right now.
Oh God, yeah, no, not math. Like
Not-
what? Can I have my phone? Can I have my calculator? 'Cause
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
Can I use a TI-87 or something to graph? I don't even know how to
Oh
graph
my God,
anymore.
the graphing calculators, those are wild.
Oh God, I was a double math major or double math kid in high school. Yeah, that was before I knew I was queer though. So that happened. Removed math from everything.
The closet was covered in the quadratic formula.
Oh God. Oh my God. That's a horror story. That's a horror movie at that point. coming the closet covered in quadratic formulas. Oh my god, I can't.
Oh my lord.
Well, Ash,
Yes.
first and foremost, I guess we should end the stream in the best way possible. Where can people find you? And a fun fact about yourself.
Okay, where can people find me? I'm Ashley Urbato on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, anything, honestly. Ashley Urbato, I'll be there. TikTok, you know, vibes. I do a lot of streaming, YouTube stuff, all that. Fun fact about myself is I mean, I kind of can elaborate on something that's different, but fun fact about myself is I apparently am just very like just bass heavy when I listen to music, and the only reason that I learned how to play bass is because my dad watched me while I was in the car, and he noticed that I was drumming on my legs but in tune with the bass of every song.
Oh my god.
And so he got me a bass guitar.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yes, my dad plays guitar and is does a lot of music stuff, so he noticed and got me into it, and I was very excited.
Oh, I love that. I'm Blizz. I don't have something as cute. Oh, I'm Blizz. You can find me on Twitch at Blizz, but every other social media is gonna be Blizz Bear. Bear's my last name, not my legal last name, but my online last name. And a fun fact: when I was like, I think it was like 3 or 4, my parents entered me in a pie eating contest, and I was losing so bad that I flipped the entire table. And had a like temper tantrum, and technically no one won, so
Blizz,
I didn't
I adore
lose.
you. That is a very Blizz story.
That is very me. I translate super well in person because it is me always. Is there footage? No.
God, I wish.
I would delete the footage.
It was not a recorded pie eating contest.
It's incriminating. It's incriminating of my character.
Incriminating of your character. However, you will share it in this podcast.
Gosh damn it, or gosh darn it. Chat, well, thank you so much for being here.
Yes. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being wonderful to Kisos, and thank you, Kisos, for hanging out and sharing your story and your insight. And that was just so cool. Oh my gosh, I love talking and hanging out with creative, wise people. It
makes me want to be creative, and I need to now be creative.
Yes.
After sloth.
After sloth, yes. After sloth, we will be gay creative. Apparently, that's a new sin.
That's a sin, is being gay creative. All right, we're gonna head out. We'll see y'all next or other Thursday, the 2 Thursdays. See ya.
Of wondering what life could bring if I use my life. Shut off my brain. What's the use? Ripples refuse to recreate a fragment of my past. No happiness I've ever known will ever come back. Solitude in the crowd. Silence is the only sound allowed. Wait up, I'm stuck in the moment. Hold up, I'm frozen in time. And when I see my reflection, focus on the bloodshot eyes. I can't stop making excuses, demon directly behind. And when I see my reflection, focus on the bloodshot